Welcome, everybody. Adam Green here with No More News. Huge show today. Happy Friday, June 19th, 2026. So much to get into. Another huge news day. Amalek is here. Donnie Darkin's going to pop in a little bit later. Going to be covering more, I don't know what day this is, but more Trump and Vance calling out Israel. And the Jews and Israel Zionists are not happy about it. We got a bunch of clips from Randy Fine and Mort Klein, the president of the Zionist Organization of America. Netanyahu saying he'll stand alone. We're going to cover all that stuff. We're going to talk. We got some Bible clips, some Christian rabbi, Black Hebrew Israelite clips. We've got end times prophecy stuff linked to what Trump's doing according to the rabbis. And we're going to close out with Gage-Gate, Lucas Gage's new interview with former founder, CEO of the Daily Wire, Jeremy Boring. We're going to play some clips from that, see what we think about that. What's up, Amalek? Thanks for being here.
Not much, dude. Ready to go over. A lot of news to cover, a lot of things to go over, lots of fun clips to do.
So we're going to recap a little bit of what they've been saying the last few days too. Like, somebody needs to make a good compilation of all of the more anti-Israel, anti-Jewish things that Trump has ever said. You could put together a pretty fire compilation. Think about it. What do you like first, America or Israel? Remember what he said at the Knesset? Think of that.
Oh yeah.
Think of early on when he's like, "I don't want your Jewish." She paid
for it, right?
Yeah.
You saw that? Yeah.
All right. First, they have a lot of... Okay, so he's saying he's going to stop them from bombing Lebanon.
Are you going to be able to control Israel from attacking Lebanon?
Yeah, I will be. I mean, I wonder. They have a lot of respect for me, and they do as I say.
Are you going to be...
They do as I say. He's always had this type of attitude trying to say things like that, you know? They do as I say. New York Post, Trump says U.S. has to keep Netanyahu a little bit sane in a jab at Israeli leader. J.D. Vance, we'll play it. He goes, Trump's the only leader in the world that's backing Israel right now. And then so they're saying, okay, we'll get into the narrative. Like we're watching a movie unfold, not Game of Thrones, House of Cards style. Trump said Israel would have been eviscerated if not for him. So without him, Israel's about to be eviscerated. That's the takeaway.
If it weren't for Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu worked well with me, but he will tell you, we're the ones with the guns, we're the ones with the whole deal, we're the ones with the B-2 bombers, etc. If it weren't for Donald Trump, Israel would have been eviscerated.
Your relationship with Netanyahu.
If it weren't for...
He says that all the time. He saved Israel. God saved him to save Israel, and now he's turning on Israel. And Edom and the West is turning against them, and they're outraged, and they think it's part of their prophecies. Look at what Tucker says.
Man, what a... Some of them. And you lost the only president you had full control over. Trump went from being a slave to Israel to comparing Benjamin Netanyahu disfavorably to Al-Qaeda. Man, what a ride. Some of them.
That seemed like fake to me.
Dude, that is such a weird way to frame what he said about that. Yeah. Dude, come on. Can't we just try to accurately talk about the world and reality? Can we stop doing this thing where we got to put everything in these ridiculous framings, man? Trump didn't just another compare him to Al-Qaeda.
Yeah, what if this is just another ruse to make everybody think that he's finally putting Israel in check right before the midterms so they don't get wrecked in the midterms for being slaves of Israel, and to make Iran make it look like they're trying to make a deal with Iran, but something's going to happen and we're going to end up bombing again after the midterms.
Yeah, I don't know.
Giving them false sense of security with this supposed rift. Because that's how they've been stringing it along for quite a while.
Yeah, but the idea that Trump, he was comparing it to the leader of Syria, who was former Al-Qaeda, but that's not him comparing it, he acted like basically he came out and said, "Oh, Bibi is worse than the leaders of Al Qaeda" or something like that. That's not what he was saying. He was like talking shit or throwing shade, saying that, "Oh, if Israel can't handle this shit, Syria should do it." Like that, you know what I mean? Like that's what he was talking about. Like I don't know. Why does Tucker always do that?
Send $5. Happy do on Teams. Mein Liebes.
Yep. You too. We'll be celebrating.
Johann sent $5.
How do you celebrate Juneteenth?
Mein Liebes.
You know,
I listen to rap music, I think is what you're supposed to do.
Johann sent $5.
Really?
Happy
No
do on
food?
Teams. Mein Liebes.
no meal. Oh my God! It's always the first power chat does this. No,
Johann sent $5.
no,
Happy.
no fried chicken and watermelon meal or anything. Grape
That actually
soda?
is probably a good idea.
Oh my gosh, how many times is this going to play? Does this not happen at the beginning of every show? What is... Oh, Da Vinci says we're going to win. All right, sorry. Oh my gosh, guys. This is power chat. Dude.
Davidson now sent.
Are you guys clicking it over and over again? Because it ruins my show if you do that.
Dirt Gang Arizona sent.
No, I don't think it's that. Because it happens at the beginning of every stream. It's always the first one.
Never gonna. My cousin is still saying trust the
plan, saving Israel for last.
I can't believe there's still Q-tards. Isn't that crazy? I mean, it's just a cult.
Davidson.
Da Vinci, now, did you click it one time or did you click it like 20 times? I just need to know. So I know if this is power chat
Davidson now sent
messing with me or what.
It's got to be power chat.
Jesus. Sorry, guys. Oh, it's a power chat bug. It's been happening to others too. Okay. Big Tech, can you save us? Make an AI for me to replace power chat. Okay. Here's Vance the other day also saying.
Now, I saw the Axios report, that Netanyahu is fuming. That's not reflective of the conversations that I've had with him, but maybe he's saying something to somebody else that he's not saying to me. What I will say...
Alabama yeoman sent $0 on fried chicken, watermelon, and black-eyed peas.
I know, like, to have like a celebration, you have to like have a tradition to do something. I'd be for that. Who doesn't? I mean, you guys all love fried chicken, right? Is liking fried chicken anti-white? Amalek? Judges?
Adam, you're playing basketball and eating fried chicken, dude. I'm telling you, you guys all calling him Jewish. You're wrong. He's black.
We are going to
never beating the accusations. Yeah, Draymond Green, NBA player. AC Green. Yeah. A Southern staple. Yeah, I love fried chicken.
This does bother me, is that you have seen people within Bibi's cabinet who have come out and attacked the deal and in some ways very personally attacked the President of the United States. And I guess my message to them would be twofold. Number one, Donald J. Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment in time. And he happens to be the head of state of the world's superpower. If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world. And the second message I would give to some of those cabinet members, Bibi, to his credit, has not gone down this path, but to some of these cabinet members in Israel who are attacking the President of the United States, the other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars. The problem for Israel is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the President of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in. Thank you all.
David Sinal sent $5. Power Chat said there was an error each, so I kept trying to send either way. I like to support the...
All right, maybe next time click it once and then wait and see if it plays on the show before you click it again. The Scots invented fried chicken. Well, no wonder I love it. It's evolutionary and instinctual. So here's another one.
Yeah, they're freaking out internally. I'm just like scrolling through like Haaretz and J-Post and things like that. This is interesting. They are kind of freaking out, it looks like, in their own political scene.
Adelson magazine put out something that he failed Israel and like stabbed them in the back. We're going to get to their shit in a second when I'm just showing you all of the rhetoric that's been going on.
They are kvetching. One of the titles is humiliated by Trump on the Iran front. Netanyahu may set the entire Middle East ablaze.
There you go.
You believe that?
Yeah, and Netanyahu did the post, the ominous post, where he said, meeting with the head of Mossad.
Israel has an outsized influence in the U.S.
Well, I certainly think that Israel, like a lot of other countries, tries to influence American politics. I sort of take that as a given. And what I think is that American leaders have to be very careful that when we pursue something, we're doing it for America's best interest and not for any other country's best interest. And if you go back, let's say, to World War II, there were these extraordinarily strong disagreements between General Eisenhower and General Montgomery about military strategy. Those disagreements are a natural part of having a partner. And I do think that sometimes, like, the opinion that I disagree with is, on the one hand, people will say that America's interests are always aligned with Israel's interests. It's just not true. And I see this every day in the conversations that we have and the back and forth. And obviously, the president has been very clear. He's got some disagreements with Bibi Netanyahu about how precisely to bring the Iran war to a close. And then I think there are some people who will say that Israel's interests are never aligned with America's. And I think that's also not true. I think the reality is they're a good partner in the same way that the United Kingdom or France are good partners. That doesn't mean that we're always going to have aligned interests.
Is this secretly based, like, finally putting your foot down? Or is this just saying what you need to say to try to get through the midterms and get elected and not have a base peasant revolt? What do you think, Amalek?
I think it's a little bit of both, actually, because, like, basically they from their perspective, they can see how the midterms is a problem and this whole issue is like poisonous to anything. But at the same time, I think that they're trying to like meet like Netanyahu and the Israelis halfway. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where I feel like they're trying to be at right now, because they can't keep this going with the way that the oil reserves are happening and all the stuff that we've covered for the last couple of weeks now. They couldn't have kept kicking this can down the road. You know what I mean? So they kind of have to do something, and they tried their best, I guess is what you could say if you're Trump to the Israelis. But it's over. Like they're not. Israel can't keep this as the status quo. They're not going to be able to like just accept this peace deal, I don't think.
I just thought in honor of Juneteenth, we'll close the show out to Rabbi Yeshi and Rasta Jesus.
Hell yeah.
That'll be a good way to honor it properly. All right, here's another one. So he did this new interview with this Diary of a CEO guy today too, making the rounds with all this America first, Israel, distancing themselves from Israel rhetoric.
Lots of cussing at Netanyahu and what he had done. I've heard you actually say that you think Israel and the United States have two different objectives as it relates to, I don't want to mischaracterize your words, but...
Well, what I would say is that we're different countries with different interests. Yeah. I think in the United States, sometimes people characterize, Israel is a good partner to the United States. That is true. But sometimes people mischaracterize it and say that Israel and the United States are fundamentally always aligned. It's just not true. We're different countries. We have different needs. We have different geographies.
Did you try lots of cussing at Netanyahu and what he had done?
I don't think the Jews are freaking out because of this, maybe. It may scare them, but that's not what they're like publicly kvetching about.
They've always been worried about Vance. We've always seen them say stuff about Vance, like, "Oh,
they think
keep an eye on that Vance," and they think he's friends with Tucker and other things like that. Yeah, I've seen them complain about him following people on Twitter in the BAP sphere. I've seen Jews complain about that. Israelis complain about that, saying that is
on. It's pronounced Juneteenth.
Juneteenth. Okay.
Dirt Gang in Arizona sent $0 on. I guarantee Trump and all his guys are eating up oil stocks, right? I believe the war will resume and barrel prices will be in the 100 range.
Yeah, it could just be that too. I didn't even think about that. Manipulating the markets up and down with more fake peace deals and agreements and wanting to negotiate fake rifts and feuds with Netanyahu and Israel, and then new bombings.
That's certainly been like what they've done previously. Breaking Points covers this all the time, and they show like certain stock buys and options and things like that they're doing that must be from somebody with inside knowledge. Essentially, they're like buying and selling directly, like in sync with what's going on. Essentially, so like there is some of that. Whether that's what's going on this time, I'm not sure. that remains to be seen, but that has been what they've done previously.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yo, what's up?
Yo, what's up, Donnie?
What's going on?
Well, have you been watching?
Yeah, I've been listening.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
we're just covering all this, as you say, the beast betraying the harlot, turning on the harlot.
Yeah, well, I gotta say, like, I think I kind of agree with like Vance and what he's saying. Like, I don't think that there's like I definitely think that United States and Israel have like two, like the interests aren't always going to align, right? And so like, I don't think that like all of this is a result of some like grand conspiracy. Like, I genuinely think that like, I think the tension between like both groups are like are genuine and like real, and like not some like crazy like conspiracy thing.
You don't think it's a fake beef in a master plan in a theater? You think it's genuine politics, genuine egos?
100%.
So do we.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's play a few more here, and then we'll play them getting mad, and then some of what the rabbis are saying about this fulfilling prophecy.
Interests in the best way we can.
And please do tell me, like, what does Netanyahu want? Because I sit here with these experts, and they say they want to overtake the whole of the Middle East. They want to run the Middle East. What does he want?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Well, I mean, I can't get inside somebody's head.
Have you asked?
Interests in the best way we can.
What does?
Safe answer, political answer.
I hate the 18-second clips. I hate that RT and anybody. I wish that like they would. It has to be 30 seconds because like what? I don't know. Like we need the full context.
Yeah, we played this the last 2 days, but also he says they're about to make a deal with Iran, and Israel bombs civilians, apartment buildings, and it's not acceptable. Now look at this. Israel Hayam, long owned by the Adelsons, published an article calling Trump a traitor, an embarrassment, and a failure to the Israelis. Quote, "You could have been the greatest president of all, but you failed. Mr. President, you have gravely harmed the human interest of the enlightened world, and you may be remembered forever as the president who brought about America's humiliation. The leader of the West, of Edom, that is remembered forever in their books, that was the arrogant leader that betrayed Israel and collapsed America." That's what they're saying.
Wow.
The humiliation, the bringing down of Edom. You betrayed us, the Israelis, and in a single moment, the contempt you once faced suddenly seems so justified and logical. So they're saying everybody was right. You were always a Nazi, basically.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yes. Which we knew was coming, was going to be obvious. As soon as he doesn't do everything exactly like they want to do, they're going to say he betrayed them. Yeah. And now we're all evil and anti-Semitic, and we deserve to be crushed by God.
Yeah,
now look
and
at
that's kind of
go ahead.
That's kind of what I was saying about like how like they set their hopes so high on Trump, like oh my goodness, like he's going to bring about the messianic era, and he's going to do this and he's going to do that, and like they just set up their hopes so high on him that it's like the anything that like derives from that or that departs from that, they're gonna be like, oh, they're gonna be crushed, and like I think that's kind of what we're seeing.
Mm-hmm. And now Trump's like all he's done for them, and then they're gonna backstab him and be completely disloyal at like the slightest thing he doesn't go along with. And at the same time, these Jews are gonna be like all they've done for him. The Jews got him in office. They've funded his campaign. They've always backed him and defended him. And then now, so it could get ugly.
Yeah, for sure.
If this escalates, if they keep bombing more and more and not listening to what Trump says. Trump says he's going to listen to me, and if he doesn't, it's going to be a big hit to Trump's ego. He may spurg.
Absolutely, yeah, and that absolutely, because like Trump's whole thing is like he wants to be the guy who does the peace thing, and if Israel is seen as like a roadblock to that, like he's definitely going to spurg out.
Well, it's funny. I just looked it up, and last time we were on and we were talking about this, I said what's going to happen is Trump is always going to give them 110%, and one time he's going to give 109%, and they're going to act like he's turned into Hitler. That's exactly what it is. He's still giving them 109%. You know what I mean? Like to Trump's perspective and their administration's perspective, they're bending over backwards to try to like appease these guys. He even said, "Oh, the whole world is against you except for us." You know what I mean? That's kind of where they're going with this. So it's interesting. This is I don't know. This is the best case for a break we've had so far. But although at the same time, every time that there's a break, that case is like, oh, is this finally the one? You know what I mean? Like that's how we've always seen them. So
yeah,
who knows if this is the one or not? But it does seem that this one's
Trump
a little different.
Can easily fly off the handle too, and look at what he did to Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson, like tweets like that. What if he starts doing tweets like that against Netanyahu?
Right.
He could have a war with Netanyahu.
Yeah, he could, and then they can also get back together. Like it might not be the one either. So we'll have to see.
All right, so look at this. This big Jewish account post this old speech from Bibi about him saying they'll stand alone, they'll do whatever they need to do, even if the whole world's against them. 1.3 million views, 22,000 likes.
Came to our aid.
And this was always their
80
rhetoric.
years ago, in the Holocaust, the Jewish people were totally defenseless against those who sought our destruction. No nation came to our aid. Today, we again confront enemies bent on our destruction.
Now, how many times have they said America's just like 1930s Germany and they're not safe here, right? And they got to make aliyah. How many times have we heard that rhetoric also?
Yeah.
I say to the leaders of the world, no amount of pressure, no decision by any international forum will stop Israel from defending itself. As the Prime Minister of Israel, the one and only Jewish state.
LR Philly sent
Thank you,
$0
Lisa.
on excellent job on the book. The best mythicist take I've read so far. Looking forward to your next publication.
Thank you, Lisa. Not sure when that will be though.
I pledge here today from Jerusalem on this Holocaust Remembrance Day. If Israel is forced to stand alone, Israel will stand alone.
And this is what their prophecies say. All the world comes against Israel. Against Israel. Look at this. Remember that they had an Economist cover when this was going on? Israel alone. Remember that? And they've been doing a lot of this rhetoric. They're alone. They're up against all the world. The whole world hates them, right? Now let's see what Rabbi says.
Of The Economist reads, Israel alone, and they couldn't be...
sent $5. It feels like we're watching in real time the Jews rebel against, and then like now they were delusionally certain God would lead them to, and now like then, that's not going to.
Unless they've got something up their sleeve, then something will happen and they'll say it was a miracle of God.
That's kind of my question is like, what's going to happen? Because according to the prophecies, it's Yahweh, right? That's ultimately going to be the deciding variable here. But that's
what Tovia Singer says, is that basically God is going to perform a miracle in front of the whole world that no one in the world can deny. And in doing so, it will instantly dissolve all religions into one religion. And it's called Judaism. That's what he says. And we'll watch it a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's what they're banking on, right? Like that, which is crazy.
They're
right?
trusting the plan hard.
Yeah, this is very hard.
Well, even in the biblical prophecies, right? I mean, what we see in the millennial, in the millennial kingdom is basically Judaism, right? But a messianic Judaism, right? It's with Jesus as the king of the king of Israel, right? So I could definitely see that being the case.
It reminds me of what our sages taught us, that the Jewish people are like one sheep surrounded by 70 wolves. But imagine how great...
70 nations. 70 represents the 70 nations. They think we're all wolves. We're all the Klippa. We're all Ishmael and Esau, evil that hates them for no reason. That's what that entails when he says that.
Our shepherd must be. We have to be careful not to be lured into the trap of trusting one of the wolves, and understand that our protection only comes from God himself.
So don't trust one of the wolves, America. Their protection comes from God. oh, it'll be a miracle. God saved them, like in the Yom Kippur War and in 1948 and in, Purim and Exodus. And every time, this is the template. This is the theme. Mm-hmm. The evil empire persecutes them, wants to genocide them, and then God intervenes and they triumph against all odds as the underdog. And we're seeing that whole story play out with the West Edom right now. Thank you, Anonymous.
Anonymous sent $5, but it's just a delusion that is repeatedly confronted with reality to prove it's a delusion, and they just double down on the delusion.
If they don't have something up their sleeve and they fail and they do get destroyed or wrecked, then it's like, oh, we sinned. God cursed us and sinned. It's not ready yet. Change this prophecy for sure. We'll say it was God's will.
Well, not just that, but that's the difference between the Jewish eschatology and the Christian eschatology, right? Like that is the main difference. All of it in Judaism is like aspirational, real political goals. So every single Jew is sitting around kind of like knowing these stories and knowing their archetypes and the templates. Like they know the way that this is supposed to kind of go in a way, and that then dictates their behavior because they're trying to, they want Mashiach to come. That's what their whole, they say it over and over again, things like that, right? But the problem with the Christian eschatology, in my view, is that it's always like relying on Jesus to come. It's relying entirely on supernatural events, right? Like Christians can't really do anything other than be good Christians and spread the gospel and the Great Commission and things like that as they await for Jesus to return. You know what I mean? Like that. So in like competitive eschatologies, like Judaism is just going to win out in the real world because it's more of an aspirational political goal rather than some like abstract supernatural force that's going to come in and say actually do anything. They don't really need that as much, even though that's what they're relying on, right? But it's just built differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Like it's Judaism is more overtly political, but like I argue too. Like I think that the Christian eschatology is also like gets misread, but I think it's very political too. Like like Christ's kingdom is a political kingdom, like in the Bible, right? And it's because it is based off those same prophecies in Judaism.
It's like the Judaism prophecies can be self-fulfilling and engineered, but Jesus can't be engineered. He really has to float down from a cloud in a supernatural event. That's the difference between Christian and Jewish end times.
Right.
Okay, let's finish up what Rabbi said.
Cannot rely on the nations, the governments, anybody in the world. Everybody has said their piece. We know where we stand. It's been proven. It's obvious. So yes, The Economist, Israel is alone. We are alone with God, us and him together, just like it's always been. Thank you for the reminder.
So narcissistic. Also, I love, we don't need the help of any nations. They hate us anyway, and they're just evil, what do you call them? Lions? But then, of course, that's why they're lobbying to get all this aid and fund and always asking for weapons and iron domes and everything, right? And then they turn around and have this chutzpah attitude that they don't need us. They got God. Right?
Well, not just that, but if we betray them, then our country is going to be like destroyed and put into dust, and that'll be the end of America and things like that, right? Like they're threatening us with their supernatural entities, like what wrath.
Mm-hmm. So if Trump is the only head of state of the entire world who's sympathetic to Israel right now, and now he's turned against them, that means Israel's de facto all by themselves, just like the prophecies foretold, and just like is inevitable given their behavior in the Middle East. All right, here's Mort Klein from the Zionist Organization of America, who has given Trump, by the way, all their top awards. He's mad. He stabs our greatest ally in the back.
Nobody can. This deal that we know, what we know about, Donald Trump is saving this Islamic Nazi regime in Iran.
So Trump saving Nazis means he's a Nazi. That's obviously, logically, that's what he's getting at right here.
Almost all the benefits are accruing to Iran. It ends sanctions on Iran. It ends the blockade on Iran, which enables them to make tens of billions of dollars now. It allows other countries to invest up to $300 billion in Iran to rebuild it. It releases tens of billions of dollars in U.S. banks to Iran, and it stabs our greatest ally in the back, Israel.
Yeah, but it promises that they won't attack Israel or build nukes. Isn't that what they wanted? If they do that, they can't. No other country can do business with them. Who are the Jews to say Iran can never do business with any of the world? Because they think they're a threat.
Also, like, how many different regimes are they going to overthrow? This is like the third government in the last couple of months in Iran. You know what I mean? Like, like at what point is there going to do they literally need to be like evangelical Christians in order for them to finally be okay with that regime? It's so ridiculous. It just reveals that
winning the war meant it looks like Gaza and it turns all the rubble.
Well, it really shows that their real goal here, in my view, is that they don't want any regional powers to like be able to even compete with them, right? So they don't want like Iran to be able to team up with Saudi Arabia and fight them. They don't want Iran to be able to team up with Turkey and fight them. So they've got to like look at the leaderboard, look at the power strength of the militaries in their neighborhood, and the next biggest deal for forever has been Iran. Like that's been the big thing. So they're just like knocking down like a geopolitical enemy as they see it. And that's kind of also why you saw the pivot towards Turkey, right? Because that's like the number 2 biggest threat near them in terms of just like raw military power, right? So that's really what they're doing is they're knocking off their competitors so that nobody in their neighborhood can even compete against them.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like this deal is Trump's gonna try to get them to do like some Cyrus or Abraham Accords too. It's like, okay, you're gonna get along with everybody now. We won't bomb you anymore. We'll let you come into the world community as long as you behave. Be nice to Israel. Don't fund any terrorism. Like, and they're kvetching like you didn't nuke them. Like, what did they expect?
In the back, Israel. Northern Israel is now a ghost town. Nobody can live there because of the...
Yo, guy trolling Donnie nonstop that I never see here on the regular. Like, we're going to block you for the stream if you're just going to keep spurging out. In fact, I'm already going to do it. You've just been spurging nonstop posting the whole time. So you are muted for this live stream. And you probably won't be back because I've never seen you here before.
Love that, guys.
Missiles. Israel has got to stay there to stop these missiles and destroy this terrible terrorist group, and that now we go into a 60-day discussion without any leverage. And this deal right now says nothing about the intercontinental ballistic missiles, which would be aimed at the United States of America and Europe. It says nothing about funding an army.
They can't reach America, but also they are saying, well, they're allowed to defend themselves. Right, that is true. They are letting them have ballistic missiles. But who are they to say that they can't? Every other country in the world's allowed to have a military, but they can't. They can't defend themselves. I didn't perm. I did for this stream.
Terrorist groups like Hamas and Hezbollah. It says nothing about inspecting the nuclear facilities, and the missiles are not being destroyed. They were on the verge of collapse, and we just saved them. And if they don't agree to this, we have only one ability to try and stop them. And that is to go back and destroy more of their facilities in Iran so their regime collapses. And that's what the Iranian people want. 81% want America to be much tougher on Iran, especially after they massacred 45,000 protesters in the street. And now we're giving them this incredible funding.
Right. Well, obviously.
Funny how there's no video of that. I've heard that claim so many times. Where's the proof? Has anybody seen proof of tens of thousands of protesters mowed down in the streets?
A lot of discussions are going to be had.
It sounds like the 40 beheaded babies. So basically calls him an, thank you, Saxon.
$100
yes.
Love all you too, Amalek. We need that Khazar article. Adam, do you have any tips or sources for better learn about the planned end times in Judaism?
John Garadas video, See Through It All mixes, all the rabbi videos straight from the horse's mouth.
And I'll finish that
Torah
eventually.
And Kabbalah prophecies all the time.
We'll get some of them today. Even it's not just it's like from Ezekiel and Isaiah and things like that. We'll go over it.
Stabs Israel in the back. You're basically a Nazi, saving Nazis, he says. Now, Randy Fine, let's hear what he says. He says what JD says is Inappropriate and disgusting.
JD Vance from the podium yesterday, chastising critics of this deal coming from Israel. That was pretty unprecedented by JD Vance. I'm surprised he went that far. Yeah, look.
Wait, which part? Which part did he say?
Pretty unprecedented by this deal coming from Israel.
David Sinel sent $5. The protesters were Kurdish from what they always start in that.
Oh, so they were like Israeli-backed revolutionaries, and they're acting like it's civilian protesters, something like that. Yeah, there's probably some of that going on. The protesters were dumped from the incubators. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so he says it's disgusting that JD said that the problems in the deals is coming from Israel. That's what he said.
Deal coming from Israel. That was pretty unprecedented by JD Vance. I'm surprised he went that far.
Yeah, look, I thought JD's comments yesterday were absolutely inappropriate and frankly disgusting. The state of Israel was not created by the United States. It is not funded by the United States, except in some small way. It was created in the blood and sweat and tears of the Jewish people arising out of the Holocaust. The United States didn't support Israel during its formation. In fact, there were times when it put arms embargoes in place. And J.D. Vance would be wise to go back and learn his history.
Yeah,
I think his comments today
arms embargoes
were
because
completely out
they're
of
using
line.
U.S. businessmen and U.S. dollars to literally arm their state. We were sending, we were literally smuggling into Palestine weapons for Jews using American Jewish money and American Christian money. What the fuck are you talking about, Randy Fine? The idea that, America didn't support, we put an arms embargo on it. Yeah, because dude, if we were sitting around right now and we were sending a bunch of weapons and guns and stuff like that, because you can buy them freely in America way easier than you can elsewhere in the world, and we were sending them off to like Great Britain for some great British uprising against like their current government to overthrow them against like this Muslim thing going on, if we were doing that, the U.S. government would step in. But you're an idiot. And if we did that today, they would all freak out and call it Nazism and all that other shit. They would freak the hell out. But you can't sit there.
The Jewish mobster, he was sending arms to Israel as well, and Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, Robert Maxwell, was also arming Israel through Hungary or something. He was getting stuff.
He's so dishonest when he talks about that kind of stuff. It's not that's dishonest. It's that like their point of view of like, we did it as Jewish people and things like that, and like they don't understand how hypocritical it is to like simultaneously leverage like your international power, your international business relationships, while at the same times doing nationalism and then banning nationalism for the rest of the world. Like that is the crux of the problem here. You guys have to at least address that's the problem, that hypocrisy.
Hey Donnie, so you wrote here, the beast turning against the harlot, it will reach a boiling point soon enough. Keep watching. So what do you think is going to happen with Israel and America?
Yeah, I definitely think that the tides will definitely turn in favor of like the anti-Israel types. I mean, like it seems to me like both left and right seem to be heading in that direction. And I think Trump definitely knows this. I mean, he says it all the time. Everybody hates you. Everybody hates you. And to me, it seems like that's the direction things are headed. And I don't think like it's. Like, I don't think the tipping point is going to be like right now. Maybe not. It could be, but we'll probably see some more. Like, we'll probably see Trump like do some more pro-Israel stuff. But I think eventually, though, like it's gonna probably end up that way. And like you say, like that's prophecy. Like that's the prophecy being fulfilled of like the whole world standing against Israel. But like what I'm just so like trying to figure out, so curious about is like, okay, so like let's say that happens. Let's say the whole world turns against Israel. America's against Israel. They have like no powerful allies anymore. And then what? You know what I mean? Like, is there going to be some kind of something up their sleeve that they've got?
An attack will happen, or some blackmail will get released, or I feel like that's what's so dangerous about Israel is that what they're capable of to drag us in and manipulate us to do what we want or sabotage us.
If that happens, do you think that the United States will like capitulate? Like what do you think?
I don't know. Samson option mode, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That's what I was just gonna say. I think that they're gonna fake a prophecy of some kind, guys. I think that we're in like at the end of like a 2,000-year period. They did this in like 30 AD, the 70 AD. They did this again. Like they've done this a lot, I would say. Where like I don't know. It's hard to explain other than like try to like stage some big moment that they can point to as like evidence that their thing is real. And I think a lot of people are just gonna like fall for it. I don't know what that is or what that looks like exactly. You know, we joke like Project Bluebeam Jesus coming from the sky, but like in this like technological age, how hard would it be for them to actually do like anything in that ballpark as far as like fake fulfilling of prophecy? I don't think it would be very difficult for them to argue that. So I don't know. Like that's to me is where this might be going, but I don't know. It's hard to be exact because of the nature of the prophecies.
How about Netanyahu like getting scapegoated and blamed, and then he loses power or dies or something, and then he's replaced by somebody, and like everybody, he's the new king of the Jews, and you know, making big moves. Because
they say he's the last prime minister or whatever,
yeah,
right? They say
Netanyahu's been in power for so long. How much would that shake up the world if there's new leadership in Israel?
Yeah, but who? I don't know. We'll see.
Somebody you never expected? I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. But
they will make a new discovery, says Doc Jake Holiday. Operation Goy Beam. Okay, here's Vance talking about Israel derangement syndrome. I think we might be getting a little ahead of ourselves, and they're just like mildly saying things that they should have been saying all along, and they're never going to spurg. Is all of our government really going to like start spurging out? And it's like 110 and get them out of here. And they're the pro. Is that really? Are we going to see that? I don't think so. No way.
Maybe not. I don't know.
And so I do think that sometimes, you know, advocates of Israel make, or pro-Israel people in the United States make two critical mistakes. One, on the one hand, is not delineating between America's interests and Israeli interests, because they're not always the same. But the second is always conflating criticism of a particular government with Jew hatred. Because if everything is Jew hatred, then nothing is Jew hatred. I actually think Jew hatred is very bad, which is why I think we have to be very careful about not calling it's kind of like how progressives for 20 years called everything racist. And if everything's racism, nothing is racism. And we have to be very careful not to, you know, in order to serve a certain foreign policy objective, try to criticize somebody as anti-Semitic when they're just not.
Yeah, I completely agree with all that. And I think that distinction is important. However, from my vantage point, it seems to me like the bigger problem is I don't know exactly how I would describe it in a way that would be charitable, but almost like Israel derangement syndrome, going beyond, okay, yeah, we don't like Israeli policies. We don't think that we should put the priorities of any country first. Completely agree with that. That's fine. But the obsession that some people have, I would say on the right, with blaming all of their problems on Israel, all of their disagreements with Trump on some secret Israeli influence. And I'm not saying all of those people hate every Jewish person, but it seems to get there really fast. I see that more prominently on the right than I see true Israel first kind of obsession that you seem to be describing.
No,
so I see both,
so much Israel
and I think both are
obsession.
Bad. And you know,
guys, nobody sees any Israel first stuff on the right, guys? Israel first. I've never seen any of that. What are they talking about? That's crazy.
I'm probably particularly sensitive.
You're literally not allowed to be in the right wing unless you're Israel first. It's straight up. Just straight up.
Because of the last 2 days, I've been defending the president's decision to end the Iran deal. And I find often the arguments are, well, Israel doesn't think this is good, therefore it's bad. And my reaction is, Israel's opinions matter, but fundamentally they are separate. But you're right. I mean, there are certainly people who take every frustration with the Trump administration, every policy disagreement becomes because of Israel. And that is absolutely wrong. And again, I think that is one of those things that can bleed into some very dark places.
Yeah.
So I think that it's upon us as leaders, as public commentators, to just try to be very rational about this, to try to distinguish what is legitimate disagreement from ethnic hatred. And you just got to be careful about it. But I actually think both the Trump administration, but the right generally is in a place of figuring this stuff out. Any debate, every debate has excesses on either side, but that's part of the process of figuring this stuff out together.
Very, very political. Great political acumen there. The extremes on both sides. We just all need to come together. Steve Bannon says, cut Israel loose and let Israel do what they want to do. No more money, no more assistance, just go do it. That's almost like the Israeli line. They're like, we don't want your $3 billion, America. We want to, you're tying our hands behind our back.
Yeah,
you're standing in the way of letting us do what we need to do, right? That's always kind of that's like the Netanyahu position.
Persians.
Let's see.
And cut Israel loose and let Israel do what they want to do, what Levin and Shapir and the rest.
Cut them loose like they're our dog on a leash, just like chomping to try to go take out Iran. Like, stop, let go of their leash.
That's what I want to do, which is go crush the Persians. If you want to do it, get on with it. No more money from us, no more assistance, just go do it. If you want to buy...
They couldn't. They'd get wrecked if they didn't have America backing them with Iran.
Things at arms...
But unless they nuke them, which then the whole world would be like, what the fuck?
Length, we're open, right, to everybody to sell that. I just don't understand the economic... And cut Israel...
All right. Let's start with these are both kind of long.
Crisis. Let's go to war with the United States of America.
We can watch the Toby Singer
economic crisis in Israel and an emergency Knesset session. And David gets up after all the debate and he says, I have the perfect solution to solve our economic crisis. Let's go to war with the United States of America. Everyone starts to scream at him, America, our ally. He says, it's quite simple. We'll go to war with America. We'll lose. And America will do whatever she does. Whenever she wins a war, she'll pour billions of dollars of humanitarian aid into our hospitals, highways, and our economic crisis will be solved. So Zev gets up from the back. He says, that's all good if we lose, but what if we win?
Insane. Either way, insane. What were you saying, Amalek? Start with this one?
I'm not sure which one to start with. You can do them in order. There's 4 of them, and you can watch them at 1.5 times probably, and be fine.
Okay.
You know how slow they are, but get into the fucking
more relevant to...
like you said, the Rambam says we don't guess. And there are rabbis who are saying that this is Esav and Esav does this and that. How does the rabbi feel about this?
So, as it turns out, first, let's talk about the elephant in the room. And that's the President of the United States, since you're alluding to it. You know, physicists have a saying that you can't even be wrong. Meaning what they're conveying is when someone says things like, well, if Saudi Arabia and Bahrain could have ballistic missiles, why shouldn't Iran? Or when asked if Israel should not be bombing Hezbollah, a terror organization, directly in our north, and asked, well, then who will protect Israel from Hezbollah? He says Syria. So what physicists mean is that's not even wrong. It's a great line. That's not even wrong. What physicists mean is that it's a statement so completely detached from reality that it can't even be evaluated in terms of correct or incorrect. It would be roughly the equivalent of saying that Yasser Arafat was the chief rabbi of Israel. It's just completely detached from reality. That somehow Syria will protect Israel from Hezbollah. And it's really a dog whistle. I don't know why people aren't getting it, that this is all a pretext that's coming from the President of the United States. He can't possibly believe that. And while people may view the President of the United States as someone with a mercurial personality, but he's been very consistent on this long before he was president, to talk about being president, that Iran has to be taken out. And Iran tried to have him assassinated. So it's transparent that all the stuff you're hearing is theater. But I want to take it to the next level because I'm not going to pretend to know something that people don't know. And if I did, I wouldn't be talking about. It's not germane.
I watch a lot of Soviet Singer, and he's talking about Pennsylvania, by the way, just so you guys know. The Pennsylvania and the Florida attack that was shortly after that, those 2 shootings in Butler, Pennsylvania, and then the one that was in Florida, like right after, he's saying that was where Iran, just so everyone's clear what he's talking about. How crazy is that? That's insane. Yeah. There's no proof of that whatsoever.
Yeah, that's not that hasn't been proven in the slightest.
Tanakh is very clear about that.
But they've been saying it. Netanyahu said that all the time, too.
Yeah.
The United States is not only the most powerful country in the world, but there never was a time in history that any country was as powerful as the United States. The United States is how they could, using America's president's term, could obliterate Iran in a moment with its aircraft carriers that can sense power. But we're told very carefully in Yechezkel that it'll be Israel that will destroy its enemies, not another country. As it turns out, we're told in Zechariah chapter 12. Let me quote, it's very, very important. Zechariah chapter 12. These are very easy chapters to understand, incidentally. And as you read them, and of course you're drawn to the commentaries, bear in mind that the medieval commentaries would have given anything to live in our time. Okay, so Zechariah 12 is Zechariah is a difficult book, full disclosure, but 12 is an easy chapter, and it tells us very clearly that the Jewish people return to the land of Israel. The Messiah is not here yet because there's wars, and Jerusalem will be a heavy brimstone to all those who come against it. Now, what's very critical is that it's the children of Israel who Zechariah refers to as like Haloshim, which means a broken people. We were broken by what occurred 8 decades ago. But he'll take the people and he'll make them so strong, like David, even like the angels of the Lord of hosts. See Zechariah chapter 12, verse 7 and 8. So therefore, this last part, and we see the same thing in Ezekiel 38 and 39, where it describes how the people of Israel will be using the materials that are left,
which is Gog and Magog, by the way.
Yeah, it's Gog and Magog. This is the kind of stuff we're talking about always. He's just casually referencing them, but let's keep
fuel in the Messianic age. It's very, very clear that it's like the Kohen Gadol. I mean, the nation of Israel, which is holy.
They will be the fuel, he says.
In Exodus chapter 19. And just so everyone knows, Exodus 19 is critical because that's the introduction to the 10 Commandments in Exodus chapter 20. The nation of Israel is a Mamlechas Kohanim, a kingdom priest. That doesn't mean that we're all descendants of Aaron, but here we're a priestly nation. So therefore, in Ezekiel's view and Zechariah's view, these are the massive texts of the end time events. It's the nation of Israel that must take out the enemy of Israel, not the United States. So
does that preclude that until Gog and Magog happens, Mashiach can't come?
Till Gog and Magog happens, right? Mashiach comes in the time of peace. Let me just take a really easy chapter. Let's take Ezekiel 37. Everybody knows that's a valley dry bone.
That's a yes. Why don't you just say yes, Rabbi? Don't obfuscate. Yes, Gog and Magog has to happen before their rabbi comes in. And Gog and Magog, Edom gets destroyed, and Ishmael and Esau wage war and destroy each other after turning on Israel. There.
Ecstatic, valley of dry bones, ecstatic chapter. Anyone can understand it. Very easy. It tells you all along, like, why did the bones rise up? This is Israel restored. It's very, very clear. The restoration of lost Jews, Judah and Ephraim, the two staffs. Messiah, verse 24 and 25. It's not called Messiah, it's called David. And then the last three passages, 26, 27,
That's where
is the building of the resurrection. My sanctuary
passages from
Messiah, and there'll be a covenant of peace, and everyone will know the truth. So that happens at the very, very end. In the interim, Ezekiel then spins into 38, dials it back, and then goes into the war. Explains that Persia is a lead nation, and then it has its proxies, and then dials it back and goes into that critical event of an attack against Israel's cities. I beg you, the viewer, this is really easy, to open Ezekiel 38. You may be overwhelmed by it. Go to verse 11 and 12. I don't want you to think for a moment that there's any hyper. It literally refers to the villages they will attack as peaceful villages. That's how it describes them. I mean, they were totally unprepared for what happened to them. Everyone knows what occurred on that dark Saturday morning. It was villages that these were people who were totally not ready for it, and totally these were not.
Oh, he's talking about October 7th was Gog and Magog?
Yeah, he said. Yeah. He's saying that was the beginning. Yeah, he's saying that it was like the beginning. Yeah.
Understands who were the victims of this, who died, who perished.
Yeah, Edom's about to get Gog and Magog mogged. Gog and Magog mogged.
In any case, this triggers God's fury at the end of it. It says it literally. So read Ezekiel 38, verse 10, 11, 12, 13, explosion, kingdom in the nation of the north attacks. That's the very next day. And then, it's all very, very transparent. Now, the reason why this is necessary, this is very critical. It tells us, and again, I plead with the viewer to read the last passage of Ezekiel 38. The reason why there must be a war is so that the nation will know that I'm Lord. That's how Ezekiel 39 ends. Like 39 ends in verse 29. So in verse 21, so the nation will know. That's why there's a war. It explains it. There are other things that there's no explanation provided. This is full disclosure. The reason why there's a war is nation will know. And it's interesting. The very next verse says, verse 22, and Israel will know. It means the Jews are so broken, they don't understand what's flying. And essentially, we've been sort of dragged into all these wars. It means, so like everybody's oriented properly. And the question, of course, is, but why do we need a war? Why can't people read? Like the majority of our planet, by far, believes that the Hebrew Bible, or what Christians call the Old Testament, is the Word of God, which is mind-blowing. Because the Muslims don't believe the Christian Bible is the Word of God, and the Christians don't believe the Quran is the Word of God. They all, even though they're not crazy about it, so why? Christians call it the Old Testament. That's exactly why. Because Christians are reading, they're not reading Tanakh, but they're aware of these. They're reading it through the filter of the New Testament. They're reading through the filters of the Church Fathers. Muslims say they're reading through their own text, and therefore they kill. That's why the end time war solves everything. It's like solve for why. That end time war is so improbable that it therefore triggers the complete knowledge that everyone will then know the truth. And in case anyone out there thinks that the Israel there that's described as spiritualized is the church or any things like that, it says there, please, my friends, Ezekiel 39, verse 24, 25, 26, it says there, recollecting time, it says, you did sin against me, and I drove you into exile for this reason, but now your sins are forgotten and put aside. So the text is not whitewashing. On the contrary, the text is saying, no, you behaved terribly, and that's why you found yourself in that predicament. But finally, like Nachman, now comfort you, my people, declares the Lord. Well, why should Jerusalem be comforted? Isaiah 40, verse 1. It tells us the next verse 2, because Jerusalem has taken from the Lord double for its sins. Why should the Jews be punished twice as much that we deserved? It says it literally. But that also, we are from Goyim to the nations. The Goyim in turn want to go to war with Israel.
Do you understand what he's saying there?
Want to go to war with God. How do you go to war with God? Well, what you do is you go to war with Israel, and that's exactly what's unfolding right now in real time.
They're going to war with God. Look, I missed this.
He's saying that, like, he's basically saying, like, yeah, you are right. We are sinning. Yeah, we are being like bad. We are doing the bad thing, but that's part of our redemption story. That's kind of what he's saying there. Like the nations are right when they say that in a way. That's in a way what he's trying to say there. But right there it is, more Gog and Magog stuff.
I see your other clip here too, where he says America could be destroyed. We'll play that one. But look here, we missed this. Trump says he's lost respect for some people. I wonder who that is.
Have that or be everybody's richer. Now, would you rather have that or be like some stupid people? I'd be honest with you. I lost respect for some people.
See, he's talking about wanting to make a deal with Iran and everybody's safe and happy and richer, right? That's what he's saying. He lost respect for people. Remember what he said when he lost in 2020 and Biden, Netanyahu congratulated Biden. Trump got pissed and he goes, Bibi didn't want to make a deal. Bibi was the reason that deals couldn't be made, right? That's what he's saying again right now, though. He lost respect for Bibi. Clearly, that's who he's talking about. Who has he been calling out the last few days?
Right.
This is big.
Everybody's richer. Now, would you rather have that or be like some stupid people? I'd be honest with you. I lost respect for some people because
who'd you lose respect?
I don't want to mention the names.
Oh, you can.
But you know, hardliners. Oh, we got to take them out yet.
Well, what are you going to?
Let me tell you.
He's not talking about Tucker. He's talking about hardliners. You got to take them out. Right. Zionist, hardcore. But why does he love Mark Levin so much, and now he's complaining about hardliners? Like, that's who you're in bed with all along, Trump. Hardliners. You got who did he appoint? John Bolton in his first term.
And plus, I'm not looking to kill people. Everybody's richer.
He's not looking to kill people, but these Zionists are, right?
They do want to depopulate the area, obviously. Oh, that clip was funny as shit. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here's the one where he talks about America in
another country, and none of us.
The whole world witnesses this.
I hate listening to Rabbi Tovia Singer, dude.
Dude, I have to listen to him
He just
very
loves
fast.
hearing himself talk.
Dude, this is at 1.3 speed, and then you're doing 1 times 5. That's how, and he's still that slow. How crazy is that?
Yeah. Oops.
The whole world witnesses this, and they flock to Eretz Yisrael. They talk it. They hate on Eretz Yisrael. They love Eretz Yisrael, but nobody is passive. And especially, I think the world was in kind of, I think the Jewish world and many of the American world who were supporters of Israel felt kind of hurt this week. You know, they kind of felt like there was some betrayal. And maybe you can speak to that dependency on foreign powers. You mentioned it previously in brief. Maybe we could just end with that idea of where do we really put our trust? Obviously, we put our trust in God, but God does work through leaders, and it's important that all the leaders will know that Hashem is God. Paro needed to know that Hashem was God. Yeah.
Right. I mean, did God really need Pharaoh's permission? Did he need 10 plagues? Like one wasn't enough? Well, as it turns out, there was a clear takeaway, and that is that Israel was.
Dude, these psychos that are viewing the whole world with the lens of Exodus being real and the 10 plagues being true history is just it creates a weird psychopathy, I think.
Really dependent on the United States. And in a way, it's hard to argue with Trump when Trump really came to Israel's aid. But nevertheless, no country should rely on another country. And none of us should ever think that what's happening here is because we have fantastic weapons and we have none of those things. But rather, it's God's hand is upon this very tiny land. Jerusalem is a city that's very, very gorgeous. But frankly, it's 2,700 feet above sea level. It's not, in the Rockies, but the whole world is focused on Jerusalem. There are nearly 30 wars raging in the world as we speak. But what makes the headlines? I don't have to even look at the legacy media. Neither of us do. We know exactly what's at the headlines of the newspapers that we hate or like. Not too many we like, but we know what the headlines are. It's not about the genocide in Nigeria, North Africa. It's not about the war in Russia and Ukraine. That might come up occasionally, or about tension in Indonesia between some tribes. No, everything is on Jerusalem. That's the headline. Why? This country is smaller than 46 out of the 50 states in the United States. We must rely only on HaKadosh Baruch Hu and more.
Because you guys are always stirring shit up, and because half the world believes in your fake books. That's why I would say there's the obsession over Israel. No, not a metaphysical, supernatural explanation.
Over.
But by the way, it was another clip, I'm not sure from you or when I was watching it, but his proof of God was that the anti-Semitism. There's so much anti-Semitism that God must be real. That's the proof. That's just like the Christians that go, Christianity must be real because all the first disciples and apostles were martyred.
Yeah, dude. I just posted the other two clips. So the top one though, he does this thing where he compares a Christian doing that. Basically, a Christian saying that God must be real because of anti-Semitism. How funny is that?
And he says he must be real because so many Goyim believe in their book also and think it's divine.
Yep.
The nations that bless Israel at this time, Hashem will bless them. It's very critical. I love America. I was born there. My parents were born there. And when I say I love America, it's a beautiful country. Of course, the Smoky Mountains are gorgeous. That's not what I love. It's about principles and ideals and liberty and so on. It doesn't even make sense, because if there was a nuclear war between Israel and Iran, the United States would be destroyed in a nuclear winter. I mean, none of the anti-Israel stuff makes sense. Even the America First people should want to protect the United States by ensuring that Iran does.
Wait, what did he say? We would die in a nuclear winter?
None of the anti-Israel stuff makes sense. Even the America First people should want to protect the United States by ensuring that Iran doesn't have nuclear materials. It doesn't make any sense. But nevertheless, we have to trust only in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, only in the Almighty. It's His name that should be raised above every other name. His glory must be raised up, so all the nations will know that He alone is Lord, and every nation will serve Him alone. And may we be zeicha, may we merit to witness the final stage of this redemption quickly in our time.
Okay. What do you think, Donnie?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. It's looking like the Gog and Magog thing, yeah.
I mean,
and Trump's the king of Edom. He's the king of the Gentiles. You know.
Yeah. So what is this? Is this the peace covenant, the covenant with the many, and then after 3.5 years, it falls apart? So.
Yeah, I hold to a particular interpretation of that. I don't think. I actually think that who's being referenced there is actually the Messiah, being cut off 3.5 years into the ministry, and ending the animal sacrifice. It's laid out in Messiah 2030. I'm like really wondering if this Messiah 2030 thing is going to line up with what we see.
I still gotta watch it. I watched like the beginning of it. Maybe I'll do a late night watch.
Oh yeah, you should. Big Tech watched it, and we had a talk about it, and he was actually pretty wow, like this is. It's interesting how a lot of things do seem to line up, and he's got the belief in basically they're gonna fake like Jesus return, something like that,
AI Jesus.
Like an AI Jesus type of thing, right?
You know what's crazy is I was just thinking about this when I last said that maybe that's what they're going to do. They actually don't even need to do that. Actually, all they need to do is if you could just somehow shut off electricity to the world, can you imagine what kind of dark age that would perform? And then from that dark age, you could literally say that Jesus did show up in Jerusalem. How would anybody say otherwise if there was no electricity, no communication, nothing like that? And how easy would it be to just shut off power to the in the West, or have so much chaos that we can't see what's actually going on over there. So it's they don't even need to actually do anything. They just need to have the keys to shut this whole thing down. And if you think about it, they kind of do, right? They've got the back door. Right now, do you think that if Israel wanted to shut down the United States, that they could do it with their intelligence networks and their back doors into systems, and Jews in America that would be willing to do things in power for their side? I think that they could pretty easily. So it's not that they don't even need a manufactured miracle. That itself would be the way of doing it, or could be.
I didn't realize this video was so popular. 3.2 million views 3 years ago.
That's very
I
popular.
gotta laugh at the first comment. If you are reading this, we are going home real soon. Dude, the earth is our home, dude. Come on.
Yeah, it's actually very popular. They were supposed to come out with part 4, but it never came out. I don't know why.
All right, let's hear this.
You're watching part 4.
Life is difficult.
Yeah.
We can't pay the mortgage. We have anti-Semitism. Only Mashiach will come and fix the world. How much of that is a real Jewish belief?
Yeah, anti-Semitism. A Christian once said this to me. A Christian once said to me that the reason he believes in God is because anti-Semitism made no sense. He was a very, very nice Christian. I wonder if he still is. But he said that anti-Semitism.
He's still a Christian or something else?
I wonder if he still is a Christian. He was a professor at a Catholic university in Houston. He was quite a knowledgeable man. And he used to come to my lectures when I spoke at the Jewish Community Center in Houston. He brought his class from, I think it's Thomas Aquinas University. He was really a very, very bright man. And he wanted his whole...
Catholic professor at Thomas Aquinas University tells the rabbi that God is real and the Bible is real because of anti-Semitism. That's hilarious. How crazy! This is what I tell people. This is a serious problem, right? This is how a lot of people think. I would say this is. It actually does make sense. You know what I mean? Well, don't you say the greatest proof that Yahweh is real is how stupid all the goyim are? Yes, that is the best proof for for Hashem is the goyim. I guess it was funny. Nick had a clip last night where he was basically saying the same thing. It's very funny.
Everyone's kind of seeing it. Like basically, everyone's dumb, or lots of people are dumb, and like that is kind of like their power is basically being able to like pull one over on the dumbasses, control the dumbasses, get the dumbasses to believe in stupid shit, and then like weaponize the dumbasses against people. Because think about it, it's not that like the power of like Jewish power isn't that like the Jews themselves are going to give some sort of like, you know, kill order or do anything crazy. No. It's that they are able to whip up and weaponize retarded like retards that will do that kind of stuff against you.
Mm-hmm. Whole class of Catholic, I don't know if they were seminary students, but they were bright kids. But he has such a deep love for the Jewish people, so I'm pretty sure he's a Benoch, maybe. But what is germane is that he conveyed to me, and it was something very striking, that he says he believes in God because anti-Semitism makes no sense. It's so irrational. Therefore, it has to be supernatural. It can't be explained any other way. There's no logical reason to hate the Jew. Now, this is very surprising to me, and I'm sure in a way it's sort of counterintuitive because we grew up in a world filled with anti-Semitism, pregnant with anti-Semitism, and we know the Torah.
All right, I can't handle any more Rabbi Singer. Sorry. Is there any other important video? I'm ready to do Gage-Gate.
I'm not into Gage-Gate.
Let's do Gage-Gate. We can save all these laughing at Christians.
It's so funny how little resistance you have to Tovia Singer. It doesn't even remotely even like, it used to drive me nuts. It doesn't even like, it doesn't even a little bit anymore. I'm just like numb to it.
Nick says he would side with Rome in a hypothetical war between the Vatican and America. Yeah, like I've been saying, he's Jesus first. He's Vatican Catholic first. Not a white supremacist. He's a Afro-Latino Catholic supremacist. That's a crypto secret Apollonian with Apollonian tendencies. Where are you at with Nick these days?
Me?
Donnie? Yeah.
Yeah. I talked to Nick not too long ago. He's I would love to see like no, like me and Nick have been friends for a while. He's one of the few people who's actually like seen my son, and he knows my wife, like me and my wife know him and stuff. But I would love to see like a conversation.
He knows Donnie Darkened, or he knows Mark?
He knows me.
Both.
Yeah. I did a reveal, so yeah. He knows Mark,
okay.
He knows Mark, and then it's funny, he actually didn't know that I was Donnie until I did remember when he got back on Twitter with that account like Candace Stan and he kept replying to my tweets.
Yeah, he was attacking you. I remember that. He's like, Donnie, we can't have this magical thinking. And I'm like, dude, you believe in the Bible and you're complaining about magical thinking.
Right. And I was trying to tell him, I'm like, I'm a little bit like consistent on this. And then one of our mutuals actually messaged him and told him, he's like, yo, you know, that's Mark, right? He's like, what? And then he messaged me, and then we were talking and stuff. But yeah, it's I would love to see a conversation.
So true, Nick.
Yeah, between like him and Spencer. I like on this kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Because like I always feel like Nick kind of gradually goes more and more towards like this Spencer sphere stuff. But like when he says stuff like, oh, like I would side with like the Roman Catholic Church, like I would love to see like him and like Spencer like a conversation about like that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Happy Friday.
Be interesting.
Edom, did chat pass the small hat test today?
We're real close to the goal. I think we're gonna hit it. We still got this Lucas Gage-Gate segment. So we played on the stream a couple days ago. He was on this Living L'Haim YouTube channel with almost 2 million subs. We played a few clips of that. Lucas is on a sort of a apology tour a bit, repenting for his past low IQ anti-Semitism, spurgy anti-Semitism. Let's see. First, Lucas admits he got audience captured, like I had been saying and critical of, predicted, and he wants nothing to do with his Boom Boom Tel Aviv song anymore.
How much is audience capture a part? How much is audience capture a part of your story, and how much do you think it's part of the story of that particular movement, broadly speaking?
So, my friend Adam Green, he does No More News.
Let's go.
He said, Lucas, you need to influence your people. You're not doing that anymore. You've been audience captured. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like,
and this was what I was criticizing him before he threw me under the bus for these morons that I'm completely vindicated on, and ended up,
Anonymous sent
Wrecking him.
$5 small hat check.
Thank you, Anonymous. Yes, you guys are confirmed. No small hats. So he was like, you're never going to convince anybody that Jesus is fake. And they have their religion, and you're never going to debunk it, which he says again in this video, too, which I don't like the counter signaling on that. But I'm like, yeah, your audience captured by Muslims, third world Muslims, and Christian Muslim Russia Sphere Alliance. And I'm like, you're the influencer. You need to influence them that the Bible is fake and not the solution. And you're not opposing Jews by believing their book. Your audience captured. You're pandering. You're selling Jesus shirts. You're carving a cross into your thing. You're not a Christian, but you're pandering to believers instead of giving them the truth of what they need to hear of us to actually get off the Abrahamic paradigm. Your audience captured. That's what I was saying. And he says I was right.
Do you need to influence?
He's like, no, you got to unite with everybody. Don't fight with Stu Peters. Don't call out disinfo and grifters and kosher conspiracy nonsense. Right?
Yeah.
Don't attack the religion. We'll worry about it when we win. Like that type of stuff.
I understand why people get in this mindset, but they're just totally wrong. The objective, it's the opposite. People who are like trying to influence others, or people that have ideas, them not bending and breaking to their audience is the actual signs that what they're doing is like authentic and productive and things like that. Like if we were to sit there and be like, oh, well, what does the audience think about this? Well, and like trying to get like, where's the wind blowing? And then going towards that's actually not helpful. That's not going to go anywhere. That's not going to do anything. That's like like letting the crowd determine where you're going. That is not how you actually get anything done politically whatsoever.
Yeah, like you say Christ is king and you get lots of likes, you go, oh, I'll say that more, and your audience captured. I'm like, you need to influence them with the truth and reality, what they need to hear, not pander and tell everybody what they want to hear. And he's like, oh, I'm getting so many followers, I got all this influence now. And it's like, people are only following you because you're telling them what they want to hear, and not being critical of their Jewish religions. That was
that's my favorite part about Nick's show, is watching him interact with the fans that he hates. That's the best part, right? You know what I mean? Because he understands this well, that you basically every once in a while you have to tell your own followers to fuck off. You need to make sure you're not being controlled by them. You got to throw out some bait to make sure that the ones who are real ones are with you and the ones who are not aren't. Like sorry guys, but like that's how real, like people who have real ideas and real convictions, that's how they're going to be. They're not going to be going out there and trying to
preach
determine
into the choir.
What they think from the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a lot of Muslim followers if you say nice things about Islam and always talk about Palestine and are never willing to say that Islam is based on Jewish bullshit.
How much is audience capture a part of your story, and how much do you think it's part of the story of that particular movement, broadly speaking?
So my friend Adam Green, he does No More News, he said, Lucas, you need to influence your people. You're not doing that anymore. You've been audience captured. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you're letting them run you. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you don't want to offend these people. Because that Christian Muslim Alliance.
You don't want to, oh yes, he mentions it. Yes, I haven't seen this yet, by the way. Yes, he mentions it. Is he going to say the Russia sphere too? Let's go.
You're letting them run you. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you don't want to offend these people. Because that Christian Muslim Alliance, I'm one of the people that said, let's do it. And I'm not a Christian or a Muslim. And by the way, I'm not really an atheist. I'm like, I think the world or the universe is God. I guess that's pantheism, something like that. I don't think it's a personal entity. Let's just put it like that. But maybe that is right? Pantheism is a sexed up atheism. That's what Dawkins would say. But anyway, so getting back to what was my point there? I was trying to say that, so my friend said, you got audience captured. I'm like, what does that mean? What are you talking about? It's like, you're doing what your audience wants. And in a way I was, because like I noticed when I make the rants, people feel, thank you, Lucas, you're our voice. And I'm like, oh, that's good. I want these people to feel good. Now, again, I'm not being, I wasn't monetized on X anymore. I lost it. So I wasn't like, my engagement wasn't based on the money because I was demonetized. But still, the Rumble a little bit, book sales, okay. But when I help people, I feel good. So when someone's like, Lucas, you're a voice. We love you. Iran loves you. Palestine loves you. Syria, like the Middle East loved me. Like the whole Middle East. Boom, boom, Tel Aviv, the whole world. And I didn't make a penny off that, by the way. We would have multimillionaire. And people say, that's all you're mad about. No, it's, how do I feel about that now, by the way? Well, I'm like at first I thought the war would end with that strike on Israel. I thought when Iran hit, okay, now we can have business.
You thought Israel was going to get blown off the map on that attack? Did they lose one building maybe?
We can make a deal. Didn't happen. Now I'm like, okay, I don't want anything to do with this anymore. It was like, it's too much now.
Dude, this is the thing. Okay, first of all, you and I have been, and Donnie, you were in there too, in the spaces with Lucas last year, going over, we were begging him to be like this, to see this point of view. So I am glad that he took it, but I just want to reiterate to people, the reason, look, you guys want someone that's giving their authentic point of view, and you want somebody who's giving, facts and not making shit up for their audience and making stuff up for clicks. And, sometimes we'll be wrong, but that is how we need to be. We can't let the audience determine where we're going and what we're doing and things like that, because the audience, you guys are everyone's doing real jobs and doing the real world and trying to pay attention to things. And they're just, it's not the same. They're not able to do it. They're not able to actually engage the same way. So I don't know, people need to just accept that as part of the online sphere these days.
Okay, let's hear
but
some
it's
more.
Crazy.
Yeah. No, Lucas has, so people that don't know, that we were beefing. He was becoming good friends with Jake and Dan Bilzerian and Stu Peters. And I'm like, those guys are disinfo and they just woke up to this stuff and they're lying about me. And he's like, well, you're causing fights and you're criticizing Jesus. So you're not part of the Christian Muslim Alliance. And he really thought oh, he's blowing up in subs. He has all this influence. This squad's going to bring down Zog. That was his mindset. So he betrayed me, showed text messages, threw me under the bus, talked shit. And then I was critical of him for, I don't know, this was 2 years ago. And I was just making fun of all the stupid shit he was doing, seeing him invest in Stu's J-Proof, which he got burned on $9,000 and finally exposed that.
I literally an hour after there was a huge thread that was done by a guy with Hebrew letters as his name, so he's probably Jewish as Israeli. I found this thread. Somebody sent it to me yo, J-Proof is a scam. Check this out. And I went through this thread myself, and then I sent it to two other people that knew crypto way better than me. And then I said, dude, this is bad. I replied to Lucas, and he blocked me for it. That's where we were last year. Well, I'm literally trying to warn you against what ends up happening to you. So anyway,
but happy story at the end.
Yeah,
he admitted I was right. He apologized. He said it publicly many times. So
it's good, but it's everyone has to take on that lesson though and understand why it's so important to get why that doesn't work. Why the Christian Muslim Alliance doesn't work. Why why rallying around the peasants isn't going to work. All those things, those are not good strategies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mainstream anti-Zionism, I guess you could call it.
Can we just be normal people without any of the religious baggage or any of the other baggage associated with these types of things? We're just normal people who are taking our own side.
Ermina_.
And
thank you,
critical of Judaism. Critical of Zionism.
Yeah, he was doing it's their demons and slay demons and they're satanic and synagogue of Satan.
On Gotta Check. Hopefully everyone does the small hat challenge to meet the Hail Adam and
We're 48 away from the goal. We're going to smash it. Friday goal. Yeah, I'm glad Lucas came to their senses. When somebody goes astray and you call them out and then they finally, get back on track, you have to commend that. People improving the rhetoric, although we're going to see the rest of it and see if there's anything else to be critical. He may be swinging the pendulum a little too far back, and let's so your low IQ anti-Semitism kind of help them in a way, and then now repenting and going on, it's you're also helping them, and we'll see though.
And how did Charlie Kirk's assassination in particular push you away from this?
Well, so as I was saying, more people got into this tent, more freaky people, different conspiracies. Before the blood was out of his neck, Jeremy, instantly it was Israel. I'm like, okay, well, Israel does assassinate. They do things in the Middle East, and they're known for things like that. But why Charlie Kirk? He was the #1 pro-Israel guy. oh, well, he said something about October 7th, or he got a text message about donors. Candace, they're going to kill me. I don't know if that text ever came out or whatever. So it was like circumstantial things, but I'm like, but I heard the shot on video and went, shh. Now I'm a Marine. I remember shooting down range. That's a shot coming from a distance. And it was a rifle, right? It wasn't a handgun, and it made that shh. Okay. And he got shot in the throat. So who goes for a throat shot? It must have been either a headshot or a chest shot. The guy missed. So it seems like he's not really good shot. But before the blood came out, it had to be.
Dude, Lucas is totally covering up for Mossad. It was the lapel mic blew up his neck. Every base red-pilled truth teller knows that. Donnie, are you on board with the lapel mic theory? Or is it the palm handgun theory? Which one are you with?
I think it was a Jewish space laser, actually.
Good. Drone? Jewish space drone?
$0 on Friday, Goal Smashers. Let's go.
Yeah.
I just want to real quick rub it in, everybody. Hey, real quick, everybody. How long ago was that? 6 months ago? 8 months ago? When was the Kirk shooting? I remember being on this stream with you, Adam, and Johnny. We were on this stream. We're sitting around talking, shooting the shit, and there's people in the replies in the audience that were sitting there saying I would be proven wrong. The court trial is coming up, and there is no evidence that I've been wrong about this. And you guys are all gonna need to sit there and come to terms with it, and you're gonna all cry and say I need to unblock you because it was just a Kirk thing. No, I'm not unblocking you. You've proven to be retarded. You've proven to be retarded. I was right.
Yeah.
The Kirk theory was stupid. There was never any evidence. I honestly looked at every bit of evidence I possibly could. The best thing you guys possibly have at all was those text messages where he's talking about how annoying the
he's
donors
done with
are.
The Israel. He said he's done with the Israel something in the group
that's
chat.
The closest thing you guys have, and but that is not evidence of a crime. And we need to base our political understanding and our understanding of the world based on reality, not just speculation.
Yeah. And
or
the
revelation.
trial's still going to come out too and probably have crazy, overwhelming evidence, and everybody's going to look retarded. And Candace has been wrong about everything and just making a whole clown show of all of it. And these are all the same people that were saying that Netanyahu was dead and it's all AI videos. They're just wrong about a new conspiracy like every week, and wrong about all the big stuff too. Did I hear somebody trying to chime in there? Was that Donnie?
No, I think I've been on board with you guys on this day one. Like all the people saying like, oh, Kirk was turning against Israel. He was literally in the middle of writing a book. What was it called? I don't even remember. But like,
keep the Sabbath.
Yeah, about keeping the Sabbath. Like he was still pro-Israel. Like he still had that. Yeah.
Hold on. Not just that, but the entire purpose of Charlie Kirk was to take the 2016, 2017 Milo and Ben Shapiro and Richard Spencer college tour energy, and to basically like corporatize that, right? It was a way of basically people being able to 501c3 pay, tax write-off, pay into a thing like this that is part of a political project that is basically like a way of issuing like Trump-style political power and capture that whole scene that was going on back then. That was the whole purpose. And what he wanted to do was neutralize things like Nick Fuentes and that growing like alt-right movement that came. That was the whole start of the Groyper War, right? Is Nick and his guys going up and asking those questions of Kirk and all those things. That was the rise of Nick and the Groypers, right? And that was the entire identity of Charlie Kirk, was that he is the anti-Semitism and racist guy trying to like gatekeep and block that movement out. Okay. So if that's true, that's his identity. I'm telling you guys that 100% without a doubt, then you're going to need a little bit more evidence than those text messages. You're going to need a little bit more evidence than out of context clips. You're going to need a little bit more evidence than like, oh, isn't it weird that the guy was like changed clothes twice? Like all of these things, we need more. You need more evidence. That's all that. So all the people that are doing the Kirk conspiracy stuff still, like you were wrong.
Charlie had just wrote some like slavish letter to Netanyahu like a few months before, and then Candace was wrong about that, and then they put out the letter. She was wrong about the meeting they had where he was like supposedly like Charlie put together that meeting with Ackman to oppose anti-Semitism and the rising anti-Semitism, and they act like he was like threatened or something there, and then he was just on the phone the night before with his rabbi and Josh Hammer practicing to handle all the anti-Israel questions that he was about to get. Like, that's the reality. All right, anyway. Yeah, oh, Da Vinci now says Tyler Robinson definitely did it. He grew up in Utah and had mental health issues and high suicide rates. The Mormon church is so rigid. Yeah.
Israel. And then all of a sudden, within a week, it was like...
Charlie was top goy. We've been criticizing Charlie and his top goy gatekeeper status for the last decade. And these people that just woke up after October 7th, they're like, oh, you if you don't think they killed him, you're a Mossad.
Dude, that's literally what we're getting. I'm being told for like my position that I'm like Jewish or I'm anti-white or all these other things, and it's ridiculous. It's just so stupid, dude.
Mm-hmm. It's so stupid you lost Lucas Gage because of it. Stu Peters and Candace Owens are so retarded. You're losing hardcore, white nationalist, anti-Semite influencers.
Dude, Infantata just made a great point in the chat. He says that they killed him specifically, Magnus Hirschfeld and these other things. Yeah, dude, this is the thing, is that they're taking away from like a real issue and a real thing that happened. If the guy was motivated by being like like, I don't think he was a far left Antifa guy, like, communist or part of any of those groups or anything like that, but he was seemingly motivated by like trans ideology. He seems to be like a mainstream liberal trans, like pro-trans person because of his own ideology. That does seem to be where it came from. If that's true, those ideas did not come from nowhere. Those ideas have an origin. Those ideas have like a genealogy that we can trace back.
The left
and we can tell
has
that story.
Violence. The left can be violent and
so
hate us and want us dead.
Yes,
lots of them. Yeah.
So doing the Kirk conspiracy stuff covers for that. It provides a smoke screen where people can't decipher like the actual solution to fixing these issues. How do you fix like random like tranny ideological killers? Well, you have to like root out the tranny, like that. You have to root out that ideology. You have to stop promoting that ideology. You have to expose that ideology to the world, basically.
And you can't blame Jews for it either. Like,
well, in this case you can. I mean, in a way, but
worldwide communist expert Karlin Borisenko says he was not a far leftist. He wasn't part of their subculture.
Right, I agree with that. I
think he was trying to impress his like boyfriend because like.
Well, he was part of the Hoi 4 subculture. I've talked about this already before, but he was.
I don't want to do it anymore. I've heard enough. I don't want to get into any more of that bullshit. Let's keep watching. We're way too sidetracked on the Charlie.
But before the blood came out, it had to be Israel, and then all of a sudden, within a week, it was like every day there was a new shooter from a different angle with a new weapon that we never heard of, whether it be a palm gun.
And it was immediately, if you don't agree, you're part of the cover up and you're bad and a Jew too. That's the most obnoxious part.
I got locked out of my account for a week because they all reported me.
Candace said someone in the tunnel. I was like, I had Charlie Kirk assassination fatigue within a week, and I said it. And when I said that, everyone's like, why are you saying that? You're counter signaling. I'm like, no, man, this is out of control. What are we talking about? It doesn't make any sense. Why would Israel kill Charlie Kirk? Now, again, anything's possible within the laws of physics, but what do you have? They have nothing. And so people would just say these things.
And pretty weird that Bibi said he didn't do it right after, right, guys? That's pretty suspicious. Why would he just say, I didn't do it? Remember, they were all saying that shit? They still say that to this day.
Yeah.
Because you guys accused him of it immediately? Maybe that's why.
Literally within 10 minutes. Do you remember? I remember when it happened. I texted you, Adam, and I immediately said that they're gonna blame Israel in this immediately, and boom, it was. And I sent you the text messages. Look, they're already doing it. Lucas is right. The blood was squirting out.
My first thought. I thought, immediately. I thought it was a leftist. I thought it was the guy that asked the question because it was like violence was in the question. I thought he asked that and then shot. It's like, I know these people are violent. We saw them all celebrating. Anyway, we're getting back into it. I don't want to.
The second you veer from that, you're a shill, Lucas. Oh, you got the call. That's what started happening to me, Jerry. And I'm like, I woke you up. What do you mean I got the call? No, you're why are you coming for Israel? Why is Nick Fuentes covering for Israel? Why is Adam Green? All the OGs
I got named again.
10 years plus. All of us who got in this long ago, we're getting called traitors and shills and Zionists. I'm like, no, we woke you guys up.
Dude, that was what I said.
Yeah, by retard flat earthers that believe every stupid thing under the sun. I'm not
going to let these noobs call me a fucking traitor. That's what I yelled at them, dude.
Yeah.
My prediction came true, Jeremy. All these new people would come in, flood everything with nonsense, and just completely destroy everything.
Yeah. It became popular and trendy and mainstream, and all the grifters and the opportunists came in and the retards came in. That's clearly what happened.
Man, that was cool, though. I will say, I feel like whenever I talk positively or talk about Fuentes during that whole thing, people thought the same thing in our audience. Oh, Amalek, he got the call, all the other stuff. Guys, just let us. If you don't agree, that's fine. Just let us know, but you gotta chill.
Well, I do my show in the morning. He does it at night, time and time again. I would say have a take on the Charlie Kirk week, and then he would say something similar. I'm not saying you got it from me, but I'm just saying, like, you know, people with a little discernment that have been around, like, you know, know better than these newbie
motives. Like, what?
Flat
Don't
earthers.
question our motives. We've it's just ridiculous. That's where it's just like questioning our motives. Like, oh, are you guys are traitors, or oh, you got the call, or anything like that. Like, that is immediately blocking you. I'm immediately shutting you out. You're an idiot if you think that. I don't know what to tell you.
All right. See Through It All says, hey, Lucas, it's called controlled opposition. The exact thing we warned about from day one. Okay, let's hear
the stuff that here's what happens though in these circles too. You trust someone. Let's say it's me. I promote something. You believe, oh, Lucas is a great guy. He doesn't lie. I promote something I don't know is false, is not true. So there's, for example, there's these memes about the Talmud. There's one that says Libra David. There is no Libra David in the Talmud. There's quotes about Bibi saying, we're going to milk America and make it. He never, where did he say that?
Fake quote.
Where's the quote? It doesn't say when he said it. Remember when Bibi died for a week? I was calling that out. I started saying, guys, you can't be, it's not AI. He's right. Now he's outside. No, the outside's fake. So like I started seeing these people, even in the resistance movement, promoting videos that aren't real. And then not saying my bad, he's still alive. I was duped or whatever. Or an airstrike that never happened. I saw last week, some guy said, look at all these Palestinians going to get this food, then they're going to get bombed. I'm waiting, no bomb. And the video cuts off. I'm like, you can't be doing that.
Yeah,
what
people,
you can't
there's
lie like that. Now
there's a whole lot of pathological liars online that like to make up lies and post clickbait and engagement farm, or just people that just see a meme that's fake or a fake quote and just don't do any fact checking and retweet it because it fits their preconceived view on something.
Or they can only literally watch 1 minute TikTok videos for all their information because anything longer they can't pay attention to.
Yeah, it's all Christian controlled op, slop, cope.
I started seeing people promote this stuff that's not true, and that hurts the resistance right there. Those people there.
Yeah, it hurts the opposition. It discredits the opposition to Jews if you look like stupid liars. Like I always say, it's handing them easy W's when you're so easily refuted or debunked.
Well, no.
Exactly.
Let him finish.
But then you bring it out, you're now I'm a Zionist. You see how that works?
Yeah.
Dude,
you correct the disinfo that's counterproductive, and they claim you're covering for Jews. They go, Adam's covering for he's a Talmud apologist. Meanwhile, this person believes the Torah is the word of God and won't criticize the Torah. All right. Yeah. Okay, this is the one that seems that most people are upset about. Let's see. Agrees that there's no such thing as white people. Well, Lucas has always been incredibly pro-white, so
one reason we don't have white race consciousness in America is because we haven't had to. We've been a majority, and there's really no such thing as white people.
Yeah,
America was settled by the British, and then it was even more Germans came over.
Dude, British and Germans are related. Both come from the same area of Europe. And are white, have white skin, are Northwestern European people. They both are. Dude, I'm mostly English and German. As white as can be. And you're saying that doesn't exist? Yeah, it's called Anglo-Saxon, Germanic. Ever heard of it? They sound like leftist. Oh, white's a social construct.
One reason we don't
Whiteness is capitalism? Lucas Gage, 2026. Is that where he's at?
I don't know, yeah.
White race consciousness in America is because we haven't had to. We've been a majority. And there's really no such thing as white people.
Yeah.
America was settled by the British, and then it was even more Germans came over, and then the Irish came over, and then the Italians came over. And that European migration that came in all of those different waves didn't see themselves as one group of people. The reason you see an emerging white consciousness in the country now is
You're wrong. They all knew they were Europeans. They all know they came from the general same area of the same continent. What is this? What's the point of doing this? Also, they don't only hate Germans or hate English. They hate you because you're European and white. That's what matters.
Group of people. The reason you see an emerging white consciousness in the country now is because there is opposition to that, what has historically been a diverse set of people, and they're being treated as one group of people.
Donnie, you're not white. What do you think about, does white people exist?
Yeah, 100%.
It's just like another term for European. Really, is really what white means, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's like, in my opinion, that's like saying there's no such thing as black people. Oh, well, there's Nigerian and there's this and there's that. Well, I mean,
exactly. I had the same thought before we went live when I saw this headline. Same exact thought. Thank you.
Well, just it's like in America, Donnie, when people see you or talk to you, they call you black, right? Or they think you're black, right? But you're like Afro-Caribbean, right? So you have a little bit of a different story than like black people. Sure. But just because you're like an exception to that, but you also fit within that weirdly, right? Like it's like a blurry line. Just because there's like a blurry line there doesn't negate the category itself. That's retarded. That is the most
like
reductive,
Asian people don't
way.
Exist, right?
Yeah, it is very stupid.
Hispanic, Latin American people aren't a thing, or right? Middle Eastern Arabs aren't Arabic, right?
Yeah, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
So an umbrella term, like the word Jew, like Jews are different peoples. There's Mizrahi, there's Yemeni, there's Sephardic, there's Ashkenazi. No. And Jew is like an umbrella term, just like white is an umbrella term, right? So
and when you start treating people monolithically,
is the implication there? Sorry, but is the implication that Jew doesn't exist then? If white doesn't exist, and then is he saying that Jew doesn't exist? And when he's saying the Jew doesn't exist, is he saying that like it's actually because they're Ashkenazi, Sephardic? You know what I mean? Is that what he's saying there? Because that's ridiculous.
So. I don't get why we're talking. This is supposed to be one of like the conservative media leaders, and he's doing this rhetoric. I don't get it. Who is this for?
I mean, it's Daily Wire Christian stuff. They've always been against any sort of racial consciousness. They're against racial consciousness. That is their whole purpose. That's their whole thing.
Dude, he's got a Viking sword behind him.
Also, real quick, I keep seeing people say that Jeremy Boring's Jewish all over the replies to this. Like, and I've looked this up, and he, from what I can tell, grew up Christian the whole way through. So if you guys have any evidence of that, like, send it to me, I guess.
If he was Jewish, he'd probably be proud about it and never stop talking about it.
Well, people are saying that he's like a ethnically Jewish convert to Christianity. I keep seeing that, and like, I haven't seen any evidence for it, is all I'm saying.
Me neither.
Monolith. Exactly. And that's something I want to let my former audience understand. Like, guys, yeah, I understand what you're seeing, but they're acting that way because we're attacking them as one group.
They are a group, though. If they identify as Jewish and they all have like shared genetic ancestry, but it just branched off in exile and mixed a little bit with other areas, they're still Jewish. They still are identifying as Jews and believing the Torah and doing Jewish things. I don't get
it's so dumb. And like
this is just like semantics arguments too.
Well, also like they see us as a monolith. They don't differentiate between like the different Esau and Edomites and things like that. They're not like, oh well, are Greeks Edomites or are they Ishmaelites? Are Turks and Greeks Ishmael and Esau? Like how? Like they don't. That's not what the Jews are doing. So why are we sitting here doing that? Like I don't know, dude. The whole thing is really weird that he even went that way.
I'm looking just to see some of the comments, what people are saying. I bet you there'll be some good retweets. Okay, now we're talking Jeremy Boring shuts down PNAC foreshadowing 9/11.
Patterns were patterns.
A friend of mine, my roommate at the time, gets I was still in the Marine Corps. I had 6 months left. He gets a video, loose change. I'm sure you heard of that and saw it. I never saw the towers collapse again. Here I see the towers. They're like, look at these squibs and look how fast they fall. I'm like, oh yeah. And they say they were demolished. I'm like, maybe they were. Oh my God, they were. Well, who blew them up? It's like, it had to be an inside job. You see, this is where it starts. Like, oh, now 9/11's an inside job. So 9/11. Then you go back to that report. What do you call it? The Project for New PNAC, the Project for New American Century. They're like, if we only had another 9/11, we can do this stuff that we need to do. And then we have one a year later. And it's like, well, that's kind of a coincidence. So you see how that all adds up in my mind. And
yeah, so the human mind looks for patterns.
Yes.
And establishes patterns where patterns don't exist.
A friend of mine.
No, it also notices patterns that do exist. E. Michael Jones always pushes the "there's no such thing as white people" thing also too, for some reason. Okay. All right. I'd need to see a little bit more of this clip to see, like, it's not even clear if he's saying, like, he might have argued back with him right there or something. Jeremy Boring shutting down. Okay, that's fair title. All right. He says there's no hope for man apart from Christ.
From Christ. The reason that I would argue in favor of Christianity, I mean, ultimately it's because I'm convinced that there's no hope for man apart from Christ. That God who is omni everything as you described, and therefore is impersonal and has no boundaries, bound himself and made himself personal.
This seems like such an awful mindset. Oh, we're nothing without Jesus. Without the King of the Jews, we just won't make it. Not even worth living. Like, that's nihilist, I think.
Took on flesh as man. That is and you say, well, can God know anything about death? Of course he can't, because death is anti-God. And yet the text deals with this. It says that he learned from what he suffered. It says that Christ learned from what he suffered, which, to the extent that it says God and Christ, the Father and the Son are one, means that God created a mechanism by which he could do even the things that he couldn't do. He created a mechanism by which he could obey. He created a mechanism by which he could faith. He created a mechanism by which he could die. And I think that so much of the wisdom that actually allows man, to borrow from your Orthodox Jewish friend.
Thank you, Indomitably. What's up, bro? Been a while.
Very good point, NM and Adam, about the inherent inconsistency of labeling Westerners Edom at their convenience and Japheth otherwise, though perhaps Esau married descendants of Japheth.
Yeah, he'll probably be like, yeah, we're Japheth. We're Japhethites.
I'm not a
good one. Thank you, Indomitably Base. Good to see you here, buddy.
Pragmatist. I don't agree that it's enough to believe in God simply because this is the best life that's available to us. But I do believe that believing in God does lead to the best life that's available to you. Particularly believing in Christ is putting your faith in Christ leads to the best life that's available to you.
So this is how devout of a Christian he seems, and Ben Shapiro teamed up with him in conservative media and worked together for years. Because there's nothing he hates more than a sincere
the whole thing
Christian,
was a
right?
Christian. It's like, dude, the whole thing was like literally doing Christian shows and like their own style. Like, dude, the whole thing was pro-Christian, Christian. Even their like medieval story.
Sent $0
that was like a LARP fest, was like
on
Christian
drop on a large platform.
I don't think that's
this is not Daily Wire. He started a new. He left Daily Wire because he bankrupted it basically, and then he started his own show on YouTube, which doesn't have that many followers, actually. Jeremy Boring. What a funny name. 41,000 subscribers. This video is 24 hours, 13,000 views, so it's not that big. I don't think we're going to see a big bump. This isn't a big Mossad bump or something.
The Greeks and Romans were educated in ethics well before they studied it more than science, and other Christianity did not save.
I've never had a conversation.
Yeah.
Enough of a reason to believe in
No,
him
we're nothing without Jesus and the Jews.
But I think that
it's like Pascal's wagers. I mean, he wasn't saying that. Yeah, I was saying if there's no Hashem. He was like, well,
he wasn't saying there's no Hashem. He's saying if.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, and I'm saying that I agree that even if there is no God, this is still a better way to live. I don't agree that that would be enough of a reason to believe.
Well, Christianity, I mean, all the things about, against homosexuality and things like that, of course, it's a more healthy life. It's a better family, and then if everyone's out for themselves.
No. Dude, Christianity does not mean you're, of course, a better family. No, Lucas. Sorry, Jeremy, Jesus is a fake Jewish myth, and it's about the Messiah ruling the Goyim. Why couldn't you just say that, dude? If you're gonna do this whole apology tour, at least drop like the important truth on him. Come on. Carlin says, why did Lucas do this? Because he asked him to? Probably.
Right is right Satanism, killing everyone.
Jews aren't a real single group. Adding that to the list of variants of Khazar theory is hilarious.
Yeah.
Without will, it would be a disaster. I mean, these religions do have a purpose, I feel. I mean, they do.
No, what, to enslave the Goyim?
Fuck off. I can't believe you just said that.
Lucas, come on, dude. Come on. We're right about everything else, but you're not gonna get this right? Lucas, I've been right about all this other stuff, but I'm wrong about Jesus and these Jewish religions. Come on.
Dude, to act like we had no way of building families or morality or anything like that until we had like the Jewish Bible, that is an anti-white idea, guys. Like, I don't know how else to say it.
I don't believe in do what thou wilt,
Lucas.
Come on.
$0 on. I know several people that were raised devout Christian by very abusive, emotionally or phys, Christian parents, and it radicalized them against all of Western civilization and turned them into.
Yeah, plenty of Christians have been to prison and are criminals and that have done evil, horrible things and drug addicts. And Lucas, Dude, I'm so disappointed with this more than anything else. I'm probably going to be mad at this interview for something that nobody else is mad about besides our guys. Everybody else is mad about other things. This is what pisses me off.
I just don't.
You got to tell him,
so
dude.
Bad.
I don't care if he's Christian. He invites you on the show. If you're gonna correct your wrongs, you got to get this right. Stop pulling this shit. Stop the counter signaling. Stop you're still pandering to the Christians, dude. Tell them it's a Jewish myth, and the prophecies are fake,
White Falcon,
and we got to get rid of it.
$0 on is he wearing a key to copy Palestinians? For them, the key represents the home stolen from people like Jeremy and Barry Weisfeld. They have no talent, just Angelo wants a piece.
No, I doubt the key's mocking Palestinians. It's probably some other meaning. People like Jeremy and Barry Weiss fail up. They have no talent, just cronyism. Well, he hasn't failed up. He's failed to a YouTube channel that's probably not going to be all that popular, honestly. Only because he can get big guests.
Create order and justice and so on.
Order and justice? Dude, we can have order and justice without Jewish religions. Come on. Oh, I'm so mad. Do you understand my frustration, Donnie?
Yeah, no, I get your frustration 100%. 100%.
Ooh. He says you're not going to be able to debunk religions. Well, I would argue they are debunked, and they've never been proven. But he's right. It doesn't stop people from believing them, and I don't think everybody will ever stop believing in
$0 on Gage is overcorrecting,
religion.
trying to appeal to these people, Ema. But this should be a case study for what happens when the lying, grifting, low IQ anti-Semite influencers leave a bad taste in people's mouth.
Yeah, I've been saying this all along. These kooks are going to turn people in support of the Jews because they're such evil, stupid liars. Okay, yeah, Donnie, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, especially in, the Black community, a lot of my family, they're all Christian. And, especially on my dad's side, they're a lot of them are, in and out of jail, doing all sorts of crimes and awful people, but they have a cross on their neck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, all the time. Absolutely. Lucas, you can't be doing this. This is who I get most upset with too. Not the Christians, not the Jews, the Bible apologists or sympathizers. The Christian sympathizers that aren't Christian but do this spiel. Drives me crazy.
Dude, what he's
the
up to
actual
do,
gatekeepers.
This is the problem right here. Yeah, I was just going to say this idea that we need to you're never going to convert everybody and get everybody to drop it. It's actually not what's required, guys. The American Revolution was fought by a very small group of people. And we live in a modern technological age where political movements and political revolutions can have disproportionate influence because of the way communication works and things like that. And the way technology works. We can make videos and all sorts of other things that they didn't have back then, right? So it only does take a small clique of intelligent, well-willed people, if you will, to actually do this. It's not about we're going to convert all of America. We're going to deconvert every single last one. That is absolutely not the goal of what's going on. And to sit there and conflate that and to pretend you're never going to solve the problem when that's not actually. And it's totally
that's what he used to tell
opposite.
me too when we would beef. He's
dude.
Adam's trying to debunk religion, and it would take 5,000 years to do that, and we don't have time. So don't even try. It's but you're gonna try to convince all the Christians to stop thinking Jews are chosen and start hating them for killing Jesus? Or why even try anything? Why even tell the truth about anything if it's people it's too hard to convince them of the truth? Dude, Lucas, you gotta go harder on the Christians. Sorry, dude.
Dude, I gotta say too.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
I gotta say too. If it wasn't for Christianity, I don't think anybody would care about Israel or consider. Obviously, they wouldn't consider it the Holy Land, right? Because that all comes from, the faith, right? So there wouldn't be any relevance to it.
All right.
But my father's extremely religious because of his father. I don't argue with him. He said, Jesus loves you. I say, okay, Dad, sure, it's fine. As long as everyone's happy and they function properly. I also think you cannot eliminate religion. I don't think that you could debunk all religions. I don't think you could debunk anything forever.
Oh, so why even do anything? You can't debunk anything. Why even try? I hate this mindset, dude.
I think you could debunk anything forever. Even flat Earth is still going.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't matter. They can keep going. That doesn't mean that we don't try to get most people to get on board and have the smart people trying to get the truth out there.
And
doesn't mean we don't push back on the bullshit.
half the world is like religious, basically. What is he talking about? What did we prove with the CQ spaces? It actually doesn't take a lot to deconvert people. Those are still going, and people, I'm listening every once in a while, and I hear what's going on, and I get DMs from people that are that are listening to what we're saying and understand what we're saying and fall out of it. The problem is that there's never been institutional backing and an attempt at doing this in a way that in our way. There's an absolute way forward where we can do deconverting people, and it can be done in an ethical way.
It's been happening without people even really putting that much effort to make it happen too.
Yeah,
in Europe and America,
being,
church
legally
attendance
mandated
and belief in religion is down a lot over that's the trajectory.
It always does this in life cycles, basically, whenever it's not state mandated, right? Like the next generation is less Christian than the last one, and then eventually it just falls out kind of thing. Like that is how that's how it's always operated here. It's so dishonest.
Okay, let's see this one. Talks about getting drunk with hate or something.
But when I talk to people who are conspiracy minded, I'm shocked.
Oh, thank you, Seb.
Subcn sent $0 on Europeans created the greatest metaphysics, mythologies, aesthetics, before Christ. Rome/Greece weren't just nor had order according to Lucas. We're entering a dark age while being genocided.
Yeah, this is the same cope I hear from so many people too. Oh, we need it. People need it. They have. This was actually the whole plot line of the new Steven Spielberg movie, Disclosure Day, was that people need to have the religion. They can't disclose the aliens because people will lose their faith. They need the religion, and they go, oh, actually, we'll still believe in God even if there's aliens. That was the moral. That was the takeaway of the movie. Did you see all that fuss, Donnie? Everybody was freaking out like, oh, that Jew Spielberg's hates Jesus, trying to make us not be Christian. All of that was complete bullshit. It's a pro-Christian message.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty funny.
By how many small details they know about the topic at hand, whatever the topic is, 9/11 or Building 7 or you name it. And it's a well-known debate tactic called the Gish Gallop, that you put so many charges on the table, so many accusations on the table, that first of all, the sheer volume of
The names sent $0 on. I saw an old debate that Gage posted with Ryan Dawson and some guy who claims the dancing Israeli thing is NGL. The dude was catching Dawson in many claims and misinfo, and Dawson had no.
Gage hosted a debate with Dawson and somebody else? Send me that if you can, namesake. I don't remember that.
Allegations itself sounds like a kind of evidence.
Yes.
Even though the two things do not flow from one another. And two, you can never knock down all of them. You talk about the moon landing and as well, why did the flag wave? Well, you tell people why the flag wave. Well, we can't go through the Van Allen radiation belts. You tell them that we can. Well, why are there two light sources? Well, because one of the light sources is the moon. And on and on and on. And at no point did they go, well, you just told me three things that I didn't know. So I'm gonna actually pause here and say that maybe my underlying assumption is wrong. No, if anything, they just now you're just part of it. Now you got the call.
He's
now
right
you're part
about
of the conspiracy.
that.
Now you're
that's what's happening to me right now.
That's what you're. Well, you being on the show will not win you any new friends. That's for sure.
Yeah. Donnie, moon landing? Yes or no? Did we go to the moon?
Yeah. I when I was a conspiracy theorist, I would believe all the conspiracies, flat Earth, space is fake, the whole 9 yards. And I got older, got wiser, and I'm like, okay, this is all stupid.
All right. This is it's a whole wall of text, but just this is the Jewish guy. Oh wait, no, it's not. This is somebody different. But he had a whole long write-up about, I was going to read through this maybe and see what he was saying about Lucas and if they should trust him, if he's really sincere and changes his belief, if he's going to go back to spurging and spiraling and crashing out against Jews and raging every day. It's funny. A lot of the Jews are not convinced of this redemption arc as of yet. They're like, he needs to repent. He's got to go.
I follow him.
You follow him?
Yeah, I know this guy.
Too. Yeah, I follow him too. He's some Jewish writer.
Yeah.
Look, Adam follows a Jew. He must be Jewish. It's not my job to keep up with what Jews are doing. What Jews are saying. Anyway, I have some other stuff, but I'll probably save it for the end. I don't want to keep you guys too long. We're at 2 hours. We smashed the goal also, so huge W there.
Bruh.
Thanks for coming on, guys. What do you think? Any closing thoughts or plugs or anything you want to do?
Just thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to see kind of how this Trump stuff unfolds. It could either get hot or it could go more cold and fizzle out and then come back up later. I don't know. We'll have to see. But when it does, I guess, you know, we'll rehash the conversation.
The drama is entertaining, is it not? At a minimum.
Oh, absolutely.
Great movie. Hey, Donnie, how about Trump going into the G7 and stopping and going, I'm the boss.
I'm the boss. Yeah.
Is that not God mode? Is that not God King mode?
Yeah, absolutely.
King of
like the king of the what is it? The 7 kings, the 10 kings or whatever, right? Like, you know, the little horn, all that stuff, you know? Certainly fitting that archetype.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for coming on. We'll be in touch, Donnie. Hope you're doing well. Amalek?
Not much. Just I'm gonna be hanging out, doing my thing, posting some more clips today, doing my things. Keep watching what's going on.
We still got some tabs and some funny stuff to cover, so I'll probably do a stream this weekend.
Jubilee did a whole Black Hebrew Israelite thing, one of the Jubilee channels, where they like had like a Black Hebrew Israelite versus like other people and things like that.
I gotta see that.
There's a bunch of clips going around like that. Yeah,
they have that Dean Withers kid also doing the 20-on-1 debate. He's probably going to get smoked. It's going to be funny.
They messaged me and asked me if I wanted to participate in one of them.
Really?
Man.
Yeah.
How come I don't ever get asked for stuff like that? Hey, Donnie, didn't you do like a Tim Pool or something recently?
Yeah, I was just on Tim Pool like a few months ago.
Yeah, hold on. Let's read it. I want to hear about that.
Lucas interview with boring is the exact low signal destination. That type of activism was always headed nodding along while they declare white people don't exist as a category is just swapping one shallow framework with another one.
It's just weird, dude. Lucas, it's not like he's like, oh, the rabbi's beaming a thought into his head to say white people don't exist. Ask him to clarify what he thinks about that. I bet you'll get a satisfactory answer. Like, Lucas isn't some like anti-white activist now or something. So everybody, I think, should calm down on that a little bit.
I think he lost his train of thought like 5 times in the interview. I would just say, like, from the clips that we just saw. So I imagine that I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to like sweep for him here.
Speaking off the cuff, you're nervous. You know. I
misspeak constantly. People send me clips or people post clips of me, and I hear like 1 word or 2 words off. Just the other day when I was talking about the Council of Nicaea, I said that they decided canon. That is not true. That is not what Council of Nicaea was doing. But the papers that they wrote were called canons. So I just misspoke. Right, I misspeak like that all the time. Okay, that everybody does.
Sometimes you'll say something and like you'll set it up and then you won't like finish the thought and like the counterpoint to it, and it doesn't make sense. That happens sometimes also. But Donnie, tell me, I didn't see the Tim Pool thing. What was that about? How did that go?
Oh yeah, that was my second time on Tim. He wanted to have me on for the Trump Antichrist stuff because this was around the time that Tucker Carlson started alluding to the whole Trump Antichrist thing. And
were you anon or did you show your face on there?
No, yeah, I did a full reveal. People know that I'm Mark.
Dude, I hadn't seen any of that. I remember when it happened. It just popped out. Yeah, not a clip or nothing.
Oh wow, yeah. It's on YouTube. It did pretty well actually. I think Kash Patel was like in the show right after me. But it went pretty well. I was on there talking about Trump Antichrist, Messiah 2030. I was talking about like I was pushing back against like the Christian anti-Semitism stuff. Kind of like I was like doing my best to show like Christianity and Semitism go hand in hand, right? And like I was getting pushed back a little bit by that one guy. Because I said following Jesus is the most Jewish thing you could do, and and one of the guys on the panel lost his stuff.
Yeah. Well, that is true. You owned him on that. Fact check true. All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming on. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below. Donnie, in honor of Juneteenth for our boy Donnie. We're going to go out to High and Hyperborea, okay? Because Jesus was a Rasta. I don't know if you knew that, Donnie, but this is the actual origin story of Jesus, all right? White Aryan, Hyperborean, Rasta Jesus.
Oh, okay. He didn't look like me, okay.
No, not like you. He was white. His eyes are blue and he's not a Jew, okay? Yeshua was a Rasta. All right. Nice weekend, guys. I'll see you guys.
All right. See you guys. See you. Bye, guys.
King Selassie was Jesus in black face, hiding from Babylon. Roman oppressors never knew he didn't die on the cross. He escaped to Jamaica. On 420, Yeshua smokes the herbal chalice and curses Hitler's birthday. Christ gonna get high, 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 high in Hyperborea. Yeshua gonna mash, mash, mash down Babylon. Yeshua was a Rasta. His eyes are blue and he's not a Jew. Yeshua was a Rasta. He's as blonde as the Lebanese ash he smokes. Yeshua was a Rasta. His pure iron DNA is the most potent strain the world has ever seen. Christ gonna get high, 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 high in Hyperborea. Yeshua gonna mash, mash, mash down Babylon. Yeshua was a Rasta. He smokes cross-shaped joints every day. Yeshua was a Rasta. He's not brown like hash, he's white like deity diamond. Was a Rasta. He would smoke hookah on a donkey and teach from the Torah like a true Hyperborean or Rasta man. Christ gonna get high, 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 high in Hyperborea. Yeshua gonna mash, mash, mash down Babylon. Yeshua was a Rasta. His eyes are blue and he's not a Jew. Yeshua was a Rasta. He's as blonde as the Lebanese ash he smoked. Yeshua was a Rasta. His pure iron DNA is the most potent strain the world has ever seen. Christ gonna get high, 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 high in Hyperborea. Yeshua gonna